topic on the podcast. I wanted to ask both of you guys. I feel like we're probably going to have different answers. Who do you think will make the biggest jump this season?
I alluded to it earlier, but I really think we still haven't even seen the true potential of what Asar Thompson can be as a player. And I think he's a lot closer to his brother Ahmed than a lot of people give him credit for. Again, the additional muscle on top of his speed and just overall athleticism is just going to make him an absolute problem to deal with. He already was all NBA level defensive talent. Now to be able to be unleashed 30 plus minutes a night, because you got to think he's going to have no restrictions this season. That's just something that's going to be massive as well. And even if he can just, I'm not even saying become a good jump shooter, but like get to the point where teams just can't guard him from the free throw line, which by the way, he's still found ways to be effective when that's been the case, which that just speaks to how good of a player he is. But, if he can just get to the point where, he can be effective from the mid range and, occasionally hit some threes, like that is a, like borderline all-star if he pieces, a lot of the things together. And like someone who I wouldn't be surprised if he won defensive player of the year at some point, barring like a Wemby injury or something like that. But again, he's just, and not that these guys aren't going to make massive jumps. I actually, I really paused and almost said Jalen Duren just because I think he's starting to realize what he can do with his athletic gifts. But I really think like the fact that that Asar can go full fledged. And by the way, like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be like his first full regular training camp too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, there's something to be said about that. Like, I don't even if he was like there for the Monty Williams training camp, can you even really count that based off of off of how that season went and everything we know?
No, not
fair, son. I tried to answer this question based on opportunity as well. I'm obviously huge on Jaden Ivy. I think he can kind of snap back into the form that we saw last season. I think he's going to be a huge piece for the Pistons. Duren as well. I think Asar is a great answer. Obviously, I'm going to go with Ron Holland though. I think Ron has a really big opportunity to make a big jump because I think the bench unit. I think they're going to need a lot of that assistance. Again, I like Duncan Robinson. I like Karis LeVert. How impactful they can be, I think, is kind of a question for me. And knowing that Ron Holland has kind of taken a bit of a leap, not a leap, but he's made improvements in terms of his weight. We've seen him post on Instagram. He put up that he added 15 pounds. I talked to his dad during summer league, and he said he worked out a lot during the offseason and has been focused on that. And I think a lot of what we saw during summer league could translate off the bench to what this Pistons team needs. We saw him slash with the ball very well. Felt comfortable with his jump shot, looked really promising. Saw some playmaking from him too that looked really good that I was liking a lot. Drawing extra attention, finding a quick dump off to a cutter or to a shooter. I really like seeing that from him. And obviously I think his defensive prowess is very impressive as well. To me, I think the separator for me is I don't know how confident Asar is going to be in terms of his offensive output as a shooter or a scorer. Granted, I don't think he needs to be a 15 to 20 point scorer for the Pistons to find him beneficial. I just feel like since Ron seems a little bit more comfortable with that already while having some defensive intensity to him as well, I just feel like we're going to see a lot of that growth pretty quickly from him coming off the bench, learning from the guys next to him, being able to play with the starters as well, and still be that energy and spark plug guy that the dog pound takes so much pride in. So I really like what Ron could do this season. I'm excited to see what he can do in his second year.
I do like that answer.
So I'm going to give an honorable mention to Jaden Ivy because I think he will have a bounce back season. Looked really good. Dunking in the little basketball camp that he hosted last week.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Jalen Duren with this one. I think I'm really buying the jump shot. He's working with the guard whisperer who also trains Evan Mobley, who's really developed his jump shot as well.
Okay, let's just be clear. Hold on. Are we talking, Are you buying his mid-range jump shot?
Mid-range,
okay.
not three.
Okay.
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 I want to set expectations.
Okay. So I think we're going to start to see a good 10 to 12 foot jump shot from Jalen Duren routinely this year. And I think it's going to not only open up his game, but it's going to open up Asar's game. It'll open up Kate Cunningham's game. Everyone else kind of, just develop like a Bam Adebayo jumper, if you will. I think the defense, to me, if he's going to lock in like he did the second half of the season, I think, to me, he could be one of the most impactful players this year to take a jump. I feel like Asar, I think a lot of people are really expecting big things, or expecting him to take a huge leap this season, having his first full training camp, not having to deal with blood clots or Monty Williams, like Sean did mention. And then what you said, Eric, I agree with. Well, I think when you look at this young core, there's so many young players on this list that you could mention. Like, I love the Ron pick. I honestly think Ron Holland's name is going to be in most improved player of the year conversations. I just see it that way, because I think the way that he produced in summer league has me feeling very confident and very high on not only his ability to shoot the basketball. If you noticed, like, his feet were very square in the summer league games. And if you go back and watch some regular season games, his landing is like kind of all over the place. You can really tell that he's been spending a lot of time with Fred Vincent. The playmaking, the defense. I mean, averaging 4 steals a game. I don't care if it's G League, Summer League. 4 steals a game is 4 steals a game. That's really impressive. But I think all of our answers. It wouldn't surprise me if Asar took a leap and averaged like 14 points a game. Wouldn't surprise me. Second half of the season, maybe Ron's jump shot is a little bit more consistent, and JB kind of relies on him a little bit more. It wouldn't surprise me if Jalen Duren just got better defensively, timing, and developed a pretty good 10 to 15 foot jump shot.
Yeah, and I think before Ivy's campaign was cut short due to the injury, we were already seeing him already taking a lot of those, a lot of that leap. So I think that's why it's kind of hard to really say, especially just coming off of injury. You expect at least some rust at the beginning. At least I would expect some rust in the beginning. But I think the question for me with Jaden Ivy is just like, does he separate himself and become like, can he get, I don't want to set like the bar too high for him, but like, can he get more to like a Darius Garland level where he's like all-star caliber, where we're talking, about him among like one of the better guards in the league? Or is he like Colin Sexton level, where it's like, that's still a good guard to have, but very different stratosphere as far as, like pay grade, as far as, role on the team, as far as, just longevity, all those different things. I think obviously we all know the upside that's there with the Jaden Ivy. I just think the thing that's that's just so fascinating about guys like like Asar and guys like Duren is like they've already been able to make a lot of an impact without a lot of their basketball skills even being fully polished out. Like Duren's just like he came in with a freaking Bam Adebayo body at like 18, 19 years old,
right?
And is still figuring out how to play defense and how to, like contribute consistently, but it's still been pretty solid, especially for his age. Ivy came in and, had a lot of, had a lot of strengths in his game and a lot of things already figured out. It's just, how do you translate that to the NBA level and make it work? So, there's not really a wrong answer to me here, because ultimately time will just tell. But it's going to be fascinating to see like what these players did with this summer and how they look compared to how we saw them last time.